Welcome everyone to Love and Beloved Platform. Thank you so much for continuing to follow it and support it. And if it's brought you value, and please share this and rate and subscribe because it will help others to discover this podcast. And I hope it encourages you and fills you with hope. I'm so excited to have you today for this special 5 week series called The Wellness Blueprint, aligning mind, body, heart, and spirit. And true transformation require us to address every part of ourselves. So physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness. So I've decided to invite the experts, debunk some myth about wellness, answer your questions, and share practical tools and strategies that are simple, achievable, and help you to reach your goals. So, joining me today for the month of January, it's Sara Burton, and Sara is movement specialist, and she has been in my life for 10 years, but for last year, she was my trainer and coach as well, and she was guiding me through one of the most challenging health issues and the season of my life. So her expertise and support have been truly transformative. So welcome, Sara, to Love and Beloved Platform.
Thank you so much. Nice to see you today.
That's awesome. And today, like I know you guys gonna love this episode. So I'll partner up with Sara so we can kick off this 2025 and create blueprint that will help you thrive. So grab your notebook, find a quiet place, and get ready to take notes. This is your moment to focus and soak in valuable insight, and that will set you up for success in the new year. And I truly believe in women supporting women. And together we will turn the challenges into opportunities for lasting transformation. So, ladies, recently Sara and I recorded episode titled Today is the Day and Mind Over Matter as well. So that dives deeper into Sara's stories and our journey together and the first episode as well of the Wellness Blueprint. So you can listen that on iTunes, Spotify, or if you prefer, watch it rather than listen on a podcast, go on YouTube, Lena Cebula. So, for those just tuning in, Sara, could you please share a bit about your background and what has shaped you into the person you are today?
Absolutely. So I am Sara, who is actually 53 this year. I'm going to be turning 54. And
You
I
look
mentioned that.
amazing, honestly. You're
Oh,
so
thank you.
beautiful.
Oh,
That's
you're so
very
kind.
inspiring.
Well, and I mention it because I'd like to talk about how my physical exercise has been something that has impacted my life. So at this moment, I have 3 kids and a son-in-law, so I'm very excited about that. Two of my older kids are now moved out and living on their own. And then my youngest, she just got her driver's license. So it's always a crazy time. Anyway, lots going on, but all the way back to, I would say, just the 2001, that's when I started actually taking care of my physical health. And it started with a friend who said, let's go for a walk around the neighborhood. And at that time, the kids were very little. And that was the beginning of my journey. And it was painful for me. It's not something that I really focused on. But as steps went on, there's a certain momentum that happens. And as you get stronger, things change. And so we can talk a little bit more about that, but it led me into the fitness industry. So I have been a group fitness instructor, a manager of group fitness, and also a personal trainer. And so that's what I am doing currently now. This is actually my studio behind me, where I will take someone and in terms of personal training, I talk about being a movement specialist because it's a unique and it's a brand new kind of term that just helps someone feel safer, feel stronger, and maybe it's a bit slower, but it creates a foundation that is critical to success, and especially long-term success.
That's awesome. So, guys, today's day 2 of Wellness Blueprint series, Stronger Every Day, and the role of physical health in your wellness journey. And so interesting because Sarah was talking about slowly but surely. If you're gonna listen to previous podcasts, so many times I was saying that was not my jam. I like fast and hard, and it was really heartbreaking. And actually, ladies, like honestly, I cried when Sarah said to me, like, this time we have to slow down and adjust because I'm perimenopausal. Hello. And that's why over the year I was just hitting plateaus and figuring out what happening with my body because hard and fast work for me before, but now I'll do with lots of injuries because, like, honestly, you cannot go and just jump in the crazy workouts without consequences. But what's interesting though, like this year, I find out, like actually past year, because this year just started, but all last year I start seeing the signs, but because it was so new and so different, and it could like kind of camouflage with lots of different stuff, not feeling well, being too much on the sun. That time I had like allergic reaction, and I was thinking like why my body behaved like everything went out of whack until like I end up in the hospital, and finally that's where we put two and two together because all my markers are fine, and looking into the symptoms over the time I realized, whoa, I actually this is what's going on with me. And but I'm so grateful that I have an amazing women like with my physical fitness, with my mental health, with my nutrition and my osteopath, all of them, like you guys partner up to support me in this journey. And with you, Sarah, at that time of my life, I actually was about to progress to the next level. Remember, we were talking about. And when I told you about the stage that I'm in, you said, you know what? For next 2 weeks, we're gonna convince your body that you not in like what is emergency state, like nothing dangerous happened. Like we will convince your body that you're okay. And I cried because that means like I had to slow down, and that was not my plan. But you were kind and you were explaining to me and you had compassion, and that's what I love to have a woman trainer because first of all, you understand, like right away, you had grace for that mental state that I was, not only the physical state. But I really appreciate you for that time. So can actually like it wasn't part of the our question, but like can you please speak because it's part of our health and wellness today. So that part when you are, for example, if someone like me, they train in training, they don't see result, and they try different approaches, what they can do.
And specifically, we think we should work so hard, and we're putting our body into a flight or fight response. And it's your body's gonna try to protect itself. And in the case of working really hard and not seeing results, there's something out of balance. Your body should respond positively. And when we tip the balance and we're doing too much, it your body just tries to protects itself with fat. It protects itself because it wants you to go lie down and sleep. And so these are, maybe it's hormones, like there's so many things, and we're not really experts in all of the different areas. How can you be an expert in every single area? However, we know that your body requires rest. And for many of us who go through extremely busy and stressful times, whether it's with children and work, children, work, personal life, like there's so many maybe children, work, personal life, thinking through previous traumas, like all of these things add and add and add. And the breaking point is there. And so by pulling back and saying, okay, how can I just set some foundations? This will be so helpful in the future. And even on the physical side of it, maybe you've heard this before, that your core is your foundation. And so if we can't have a core that's like compact and fully functioning in balance in 360 from top to bottom, then you're going to find injuries happen, whether it's your shoulder, whether it's your knee, whether it's your calf, your foot. Like these things also create injury that have to be addressed. And so as a trainer, I'm always looking for, okay, what can I do to help unlock some of these problems and then re-establish those foundations. So the movement is required to happen in a
Yes.
safe way. So this is really kind of some of the starting points that I come from.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for let us know. And I honestly, I'm thinking, hmm, I think I hit plateau so many times because I actually didn't listen to you most of the time when you said, "Why you going to the gym afterwards? Why?" And I'm like, "This is not enough. This is not enough." And I think like most of the time, it's so funny. Even my husband goes like, "You have to listen to Sarah." I'm like, "Okay." Remember how I was like doing, I'm like, okay, like I'm tired of this like little weights. I gonna do more weights, especially when you're looking around this like women who is like amazing. Of course, we're not comparing ourselves to someone who is just came to the gym. We're looking for, I don't know, guys, maybe just me, but I'm looking for women who are fit, who are like muscled. But you know what? It's funny. If I would come up and say, excuse me, ma'am, how long you been in the gym? She not gonna say I just came to the gym. I can tell by the way she look. I can tell by her form. And she's like lifting these weights that I lifting in my dreams. So I'm like, okay, I want to do it too. And then I'm yanking, and then I'm like, ah, something was off. Like, what's happening? And then I came to you, and you're like, well, that was the different equipment she was using, and that's why she can use that form, and you cannot use it, blah 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 blah. And I was like, this is like so crazy because I just was lifting and I'm thinking like, wow, this is so cool. I can do it. I can do it. And then next day I'm like, whoa, I don't think I can. So what's happening there? And there, like, that's what it's really cool to have a trainer because I could bring you all my problems and I would say, okay, this is what happened. So instead of like actually like, I don't know, spanking me. So you asking me question, what is the what was the weights? How does it look like? Is the bar was like that? Like, and guiding me through it to understand why it's happening because I already learned from how to lift. So it was not about the lift. So it's kind of like cool to get that clarification, like and you talking about core and stuff, and then you, okay, let me see this, look at that. So it's pretty cool that working with you actually it's almost like like what you're doing, but this is like little tweaks, like you literally you move my foot forward, and now like my conscious like, oh, that's how my feet supposed to go. And it's such a small things that you actually um help me to see that would progress into like really proper form. So now when I'm in the gym, I'm more concentrate on my form rather than speed and strength and like stuff like that, which is like pretty cool because I don't get hurt, guys. Like literally, if I don't do anything like crazy without like out of outside of the plan that we created, I usually like really pretty good next day, day after. I feel like a workout, but there's no pain, no injuries. And that was like my main concern when I came to you because I said every time I'm coming back to the gym, I getting hurt and then I have to recover for a long time. So like it was cool that another thing that you said that because I know enough about training, guys, But the fact, like you said, you already have foundation, we're just gonna adjust and we're gonna be like detectives, like to figure out why this is happening and create that personal program for you. So I'm really grateful for that because having an expert in your life, guys, like it changed my life. I have an amazing women to support me. So if you don't, please reach out to Sarah, ask her all the questions. She's like super knowledgeable, super kind, and she will help you. And especially if you're suffering like in pain or something reoccurring after you go to the gym, I kid you not, it's your form.
100%. And you know what? And part of the challenge too is that if someone looks at your form, they may or may not see it if they are an expert. But it's in that detective work, like we've been talking about, and try to figure out how does it feel? Because if we can get to the level of how it feels when I move, then I'm more likely to do it properly based on my feeling. And I feel like, oh, yes, I'm pushing with both feet. And sometimes we don't even realize it. And so you need that little cue, you need that assistance, you need that explanation. And it's connecting with your mind, what's happening with your body. So without that connection, your body's just going to take whatever route it wants to take and do the movement however it's been used to doing it. And so sometimes those habits are just adding to the potential injury in the future. So we want to really think about, well, what can we do? And yeah, I remember very much, it's like the first little bit you kept getting injured, and then all of a sudden over time you started to get that foundation better, and knock on wood, you haven't been injured since that time in the same way. Like maybe there's little things that are okay, well, I'm tired, or I'm sore and whatever, but it makes a huge difference. And then
Absolutely.
over the years, that's everything. That really is everything.
That's awesome. So, guys, today our focus and to understand the importance of physical health and fitness and sustainable habits. And how do you think maintaining strong body can contribute to mental clarity, emotional stability, and spiritual growth in your life, Sarah?
You know, I thought of an example that I'd like to tell the story about. So my youngest, she's now 16, almost 17, and I had been teaching classes on a regular basis, even all the way 9 months through my pregnancy. So my body was used to being active and fit and lifting strong and so on. And so when I had her, I wasn't necessarily diagnosed with any postpartum depression or anything like that, but I definitely felt lower than I normally would have. And it was a friend of mine who dragged me, like literally forced me to go into the gym at the time when I was able, after usually they say 6 weeks. And so when I went into the gym at 6 weeks postpartum, um, it it wouldn't have been not an unusual thing for me to be in that gym, right? Because I was used to it. For maybe other people that did not work out through their pregnancy, it would be much more of a different challenge. But for me, it was it was hard. My cardio was lower. I couldn't do everything the same way. And don't forget, I had just had a baby. So everything was in a new position in essence. But what happened was, as soon as I took that class, and then she made me go on stage and teach the last 5 minutes. I was so mad at her, but she did. And again, that was part of what I had been. So it made sense for me to continue and to go back to it. But I felt like this, my emotion, things, my mental state went, oh yeah, this is where you should be. When you exercise, there's like dopamine, there's good hormones that happen. It make you feel better. But in this situation, everything is based on what you have been doing. So in my scenario, it wouldn't be a normal scenario for most people, but I know because of that feeling how much that was really important to me. And it was way slower in terms of me coming back to the level of fitness that I had, I was also impatient, just like anyone who wants to get this done right now. And I'm like, well, why do I look this way? But, but honestly, it was that consistent thing that helped to get me to a place where I'm like, okay, I'm okay. And so that connection between the physical makes a big difference to the rest of your day. So when you have a child and a new baby that you're trying to figure out, and there's no manual, and you don't know how to do anything, and whatever your life looks like at that point, you have to learn, and you have to be kind to yourself in that. But when you take the moment to do the simple thing, to move in any way, shape, or form, it helps you for tomorrow moving again. And when we give up, then that impacts our mental state. So it's very interrelated. And so in the grace that we give ourselves in that less is more kind of approach, especially for something like having a baby or some kind of trauma in your life or some extra stress, these are times where you have to pull back and just go, okay, this is not about today. I don't need to burn 400 calories today. What I do need to do is move a little bit today so that I can move again tomorrow. Hopefully that's helpful, but it was a
That's
big learning
awesome.
curve for me.
No, that's awesome. And what great that you said about because you have those habits, that was easier to follow. It's almost like by default. And it's it's amazing how we do have to create these habits when we are good, because when something happened, and always something happened, we not always
Oh,
have babies, but we always have stress and jobs and the motherhood and the relationships in general. So create the good habits like slowly but surely right now. So ladies, today will address common challenges and pain points you might be facing. If any of this resonates with you, know that it's okay. We are here to equip you with practical strategies and tools to help you to overcome them. And trust me, you're never alone. So honestly, in some point when you were talking about how you're impatient and stuff, I'm like, oh, you're just human, huh? Just
I
like the
am.
rest of us.
We're all human.
Great. But awesome. But no, honestly, guys, when I start going to the gym regularly, I in some point I was like, I had like very low day, and I was passing by, and then they were renovating this room where the kids room in the gym, and I have that thought, I wish I was in the gym with my babies. I wish my kids were here and I would train. And it's not the regret because it is what it is. That's how it's supposed to happen. This is my path, this is my journey. But honestly, and I'm not talking right now like you guys, like if you just have a baby, go work out and like leave the iron, but just get into that environment. Just start with that self-care. Trust me, self-care is not selfish. It's gonna address and your mental state and your physical state, and you just gonna feel like you're doing something for yourself, because right now everything go for everybody else. And if you feel like frustrated, isolated, upset all the time, burnout, that means like your body telling you that you're not taken care of. So it's not selfish to look after yourself first. So yeah, this is the most frequently asked question. Why do I always doubt myself and feel like I'm not good enough to achieve my goals? Sarah, could you share your thoughts and insight on this?
I think that's a part of life, that there's things that just kind of attack us. And this self-doubt and this, looking at something else that someone has, or the way that they look or the way that they are, we just have this inherent comparison, and maybe it's jealousy sometimes, and we have to understand that that person lived their life and I'm living my life. And if it was exactly the same, we would look
Yeah.
the exact same, but we're not. We're not the same. And my life has its own challenges, and your life has its own challenges. And actually, my aunt had a saying that she would say all the time: if all of our problems were strung up on a line, you would choose yours and I would choose mine. And it's just reminding us to say, you have your issues, I have my issues, but I don't want your issues. I just have to deal with my own. And so I think that when we kind of lower the expectation that this is going to be an easy task, um, that does help. And also trying to do the little things to help us stay on track is the wisest thing that we could do. And, you know, lots of people will have advice to say, okay, put your shoes, your workout shoes by the door, so that it's going to help remind you to do that. I think a lot of times choosing what I was going to wear in the day makes a difference. If I put on a workout outfit at the beginning of the day, maybe it's more likely that I'm actually going to go to the gym versus if I do my hair. And, you know, if I do my hair, then it's like another excuse not to go sweat. So, you know, you got to figure out what works for you. And on top of it, you
That's
don't
funny.
live
I
your life.
totally did that.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
do my hair and I have to speak, I'm like, nope, not today. No
Can't
sweat,
work it
no
out.
sweating. It's too funny. That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, oh wow, that's yeah.
I know, I know. But and really, you know, when I used to teach regularly at 9:30, I mean, there is no point in doing your hair like up in a ponytail and that's it, no makeup, because it really didn't matter. But the priorities got reset to being what was important to do at that time. So you have your way of living your life, and also you have your own families, whatever that looks like. So if your kid is not taken care of and you're setting them aside so you can work out, that's not the idea. You will
Mm,
pay for that. You
yes.
will 100 pay for that, 100% pay for that. Don't do that. You got to figure out how to give them what they need to give you the time that you need to balance things out. It is not easy, but this is why you want to talk to your friends. This is why you want to negotiate with people that you know, hey, do you mind taking the kids so I can do this? And then I'll take the kids so you can do that, whatever it means. You know, negotiating with the husband or, you know, anybody. Like, just don't allow the discouragement to get you off track. The discouragement is going to come, but when you have other people supporting you, then it makes a big difference. I'm always so encouraged when the husband says, listen to Sara. That makes me so
It's
happy
awesome.
because it means that that husband sees the benefit of what you're doing with me. That's, hey, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Sarah. And guys, by the way, if you're listening and hear the phrase that I'm saying about self-care, it's not selfish, take care of yourself first. I'm not talking to neglect your family. You still have to
No,
take care of like everybody else, but I'm saying if there's the chance to go sleep, eat, exercise, you do that instead of like watching Netflix and you know stay in bed or something like that, whatever it is. For everything it's a right time and season and reason, whatever. I am just saying to you that do not neglect your family. Okay, take care of everyone but take care of yourself too. So anyway, so one myth and misconception that can easily be as a limited belief as well about physical health, it's you need to work out for hours every day to stay fit. In reality, short, consistent workouts like 30, 20 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes a day can be highly effective for maintaining physical health. Quality often matters more than quantity. And I know you can testify to that, sir.
I
What
know,
do you
and
think?
I think we've got these ideas in our mind that it's going to cost me this, and so therefore I have to do that. But I'll tell you, you are in danger sometimes of putting your body under the stress that it can't handle. And I know for when I was teaching so much on a regular basis for so many years, when things changed in my life and I couldn't work out in the same way, there was like a letdown. And I wasn't necessarily diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, but I know other colleagues who were in the same situation that I was, they were, because it was like this big letdown because everything was always stressed. And so then when you stop, you're like, you kind of feel like you're coming down off of something. So the way that I had to do my job required that level of physical activity and empowerment and strength and the example to everyone else and the pushing and the encouraging and all of that. But that wasn't necessarily good for my personal
Mhm,
physical health. And so when I kind of unwound things and unraveled things, I realized that there was definitely this blanket approach that we would teach that wasn't good for me personally, and probably not good for many people. And even as much as we could say to a group, hey, take your own time, work at your own pace. There's a lot of pressure in the class to actually push harder and do more. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not good. So we really have to put ourselves in that driver's seat so that we can just say, okay, yeah, 20 minutes and then I'm gone. That's way more important. So we can be physically fit with less time. We know that in the studies that 250 minutes in your whole week of physical activity is enough for weight loss, and doing more actually does not benefit you. And when you think about 250 minutes and you take that over 6 days, that's like 40 minutes a day. Like that's not a lot of time. It's maybe less than what you think it would be required. On top of the fact that 80% of that needs to be at a comfortable but challenging rate where you still could talk. And only 20% would be something that you would be getting your heart rate at a high level where you would feel that that's my extra workout. So in your week, even if you're going for a walk, that really can contribute to 250 minutes. And it can feel easy. And then you would do it because you're shopping or because you're taking care of your kids, you're going to the park, you're just playing a game, you're doing any of those things. So it becomes much more achievable and it gives us a really easy starting point. However, if you are doing 0 or 50 or 100 minutes in your week right now, 250 is too much. You can't just jump there. We have to look at what you've been doing and slowly increase, because it's about your habits. You got to figure out your habits, how to fit it in, but you also have to allow your body to adjust. Your body always adjusts, whether it's up or down, it always is adjusting. And this balance is quite tricky, but please understand that when you start too fast, too soon, that's where you will give up and you'll fall down, and then you'll be on the couch for longer than you wanted to be in the first place.
Hey, that's awesome. Awesome strategy. So from there, I really appreciate and honestly appreciate your feedback on this question too, because sometimes like we do have those limited beliefs and misconceptions. So it's really good to hear someone to clarify as well. So from the coaching point of view, I give you guys like one strategy and tool. And first of all, I would share with you, and if you would like to take it, it's gonna be in the show notes. It's called Belief Audit Worksheet. and a guided worksheet where you can identify your limited beliefs, explore their origin, and rewrite them into empowering truth. Because remember, we talk about awareness. Because like when even Sarah said, like like you have to identify where you're now. Because if you jump from 0 to 250 or more, this is not gonna help you. So from beginning, you have to see where you are and what you think about it. Because honestly, if you always think that I'm not good enough, that I have to work out hard, I have to do all this crazy stuff, like this is not gonna help you. So this a worksheet gonna help you to actually see what you think about it, what you're doing, and just create the awareness as well. And then you change into the empowering truth, like I have power to create change. I'm enough because I'm God's child and I've been loved. So I don't need to create my worth and value in my performance. That's what I'm saying to myself right now. So those things are very important because mind, like our mental health and our emotional health and our physical health all connected. And honestly, guys, if you have like really like negative self-talk, I'm actually not talking about any diagnosis or anything. You need the doctor for that. But I know for myself, I can get anxiety, but by saying like this stuff, like negative self-talk to myself, and actually going to the gym or going with the dog for a walk, it's actually helping me to like rethink those. And because I know all these tricks and tips and know the tools, it's helping me so much faster get that out of my mind and get the good thoughts into my mind. And that's what another strategy that I would advise you to have. It's affirmations. And you know what? It's create and believe an affirmation directly challenging your limited beliefs. Because if I gonna tell you something like about my relationship with God or something with my children, it's not gonna help you in your life. You have to sit down and investigate what is trigger you and what your specific beliefs are and challenge that directly. And that worksheet gonna help you. But literally, guys, like Bible says, our words can speak life or can speak death. So our tongue can build us up or can tear us down. So create those positive self-talk and repeat this affirmation until you believe it's true. Because it's gonna be like a warfare. Like, you're gonna start saying something good, you're gonna start doing good habits, you have to save money for coaches, and then something happened. Trust me, it will happen because that's what it is. And then your mind say, oh, see, every time you start eating healthy, this is happening, la, la, la. So you have to be prepared for that. So every time you're gonna make changes, like your body not gonna like it, your mind not gonna like it, people around you not gonna like it, but you have to be so solid. Write that goal. What do you want to achieve? And it's gonna help you a lot. So let us please know if these exercises and was helpful in all this episode. And we always love reading feedbacks, comments, and success stories. It's an honor and privilege to serve you guys, celebrate your achievements, and witness your breakthroughs. And your success not only inspires us as coaches, but also encourages others on their journey. So stay tuned for the next episode of um, Love and Beloved, and we're going through the Wellness Blueprint and episode number 3 called Heart Center Healing, Nurturing Emotions, Wellness in Challenging Seasons. So, um, all right, guys. I'm just tell you a little bit about these episodes that we're creating with Sarah. It's the 5 30 minutes episodes where Sarah and I will debunk the myth about wellness, answer your questions, share a little bit about our stories and experience. And we're sharing practical tools and strategies that are simple, achievable to help you to take those first steps toward transformation. Is there anything like you want to add, Sarah? It's like, you feel good. It's because I was
I think
thinking. Because
Yep.
there was a strategy. I'm like, is there anything like you want to say? I just didn't want to finish, make sure that you're okay. Are you good?
You know what, one of the things it did come to my mind is that, there's always something that we can do in
Hmm.
your living room, outside. There's always something. And I was reminded of this because I had a couple of really successful results with training some people online. So I'm on the computer with them in their living room, and I'm here in my studio, and I was reminded, it's like, well, what do you have? And then we would go and figure out what they had in their own space. So there's always
And
something that,
plus, trust me, like if you here in Canada, you have everything because I know I have a gym. I have like
yeah,
so many like tools like I can use, but it's really cool that you can really use anything that around you.
yeah. So just explore those options. Definitely look into them. And, obviously YouTube has, 100,000 workouts. So it's crazy how many workouts, but you do want to do that smartly and with some guidance. So having a coach does make a big difference. So definitely explore what your options are, and be smart about it, because you don't need to spend a huge amount of money, but you do need to do things in the right way.
Absolutely. That was great ending. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I know I promised you 30 minutes, but I'm so grateful that we make it in 4 because the way that we can talk, we have so much love and expertise to pour out on you. So we will stay approximately, I should say, approximately 30 minutes.
There you go.
But thank you so much for listening, guys. And for your ongoing support. And thank you again, Sarah. I'm so grateful for you and your time.
Thank you, Elena. Wonderful.
All right, guys, until next time, take care and be blessed.